I didn't know how to turn off the live chat feature, so I just made it pop out because I keep having really good things to say, and then my viewers, who I love, keep fucking it up. And that's part of why you love me, is the things I say, or at least that's what you said. So listen, I got raped violently in my home. I'm not going to tell the story about it on this channel, but I will tell that story eventually. Here's my problem. A young man told me it turned him on when I discussed it with him. I was telling him to get out of my house because he was being sexually inappropriate. I was in a PTSD attack. We heard a huge bang upstairs, like someone had just come into the house. Whoever went upstairs, which I suspect was my jealous ex-boyfriend who lives in my backyard in a tent, because this kind of psychotic shit happens to me. Did you hear that? Something just crashed. And I don't know what it was, but it was upstairs. Or someone's living here. I'm terrified right now. Because I'm pretty. Go harass another pretty girl. I'm crazy too. And I smell like rotten onions and potatoes. For real, guys. The paranoia. Stop using words you don't understand. The medical definition of that is fear of things that have not happened, are not likely to happen, and that affect the person's life in such a way that they're unable to be normal. And then, oh, but what is normal? Shut the fuck up! I'm a doctor. You're trying to sound smart? You sound like a fucking cunt, because you are. By the way, I'm smarter than 90% of people, period. I assume you're dumb. You didn't know this before, but I suddenly lost my husband and got skinny, which, by the way, not every man likes, you stupid bitches who used to be my friend. By the way, creep that lives in my backyard who fucks other people loud enough for me to hear, and I've been able to hear it the whole time. Also, I don't smell like this normally. This is a fear smell. It's a pheromone. And the reason when I said that I wanted to beat myself up when I smelled it that one time, you psychotic freak, is because I was like, Robin, grow the fuck up. So come get it, bitch. Because the last motherfucker who tried to shoot me was right here. I pressed my body up against him and told him to pull the trigger or put it back in his fucking holster. You ain't got a holster for yours, so shoot me on live camera. Or let's talk about the crazy ass motherfucker who probably just came in through the window. Or the bitch who got beat up after beating me up, and I don't care. And you deserved it. Because you just wanted to hurt somebody and you chose the hand that feeds, but ain't ever gonna feed your ass again. But I would have until you kept breaking into the house. So either way, guys, I guess we're getting a show tonight. Because God keeps telling me to do it. And I'm gonna do it. And I don't want to. Do you know why I don't want to? Let's talk about that. Stop looking at me, Swan. If you don't understand the reference, that was from Billy Madison. It's a movie. Do you guys even watch movies anymore? Because the people who hang out around here apparently have never seen a movie. So, Like when I went to the hospital and asked the doctor to prove to me I'm not in hell, and I told him all my symptoms and why, and he looked confused and said, I guess I'll run some blood work because that sounds like I need to go question my faith too. So that's the reason I know I'm not in hell. Because a fucking doctor can talk to me. At this point, I don't know why I've been hanging out with so many retards my entire life, including my fucking family. Sorry, Dad, you're not included in that. We're going to have to come up with a new name for family versus you. I don't know if you heard the crash on the video, but that would probably alarm anybody. I do think there's an animal somewhere in here because I did hear one of the cabinets looking like sound like it was opening and closing or whatever. Or we could go back to the government conspiracy, since I had a man who shouldn't even know this word say insurgency in front of me, and I had to look that word up again. So tell me that the government doesn't fuck with people. I know that they do, especially when they figure out who they are, and I can sit here and say, I'm Jesus's kid sister. But the funny part is, you don't know what message I'm trying to share. The apocalypse is going to come no matter what if you hurt me. And actually, by the way, if it is a government, see, and I've actually got evidence of any different of these possibilities that I've entertained, that I mentioned, but it got weird for a while. In fact, let me say this. I did think that at one point, I'm an alien from Mars and that I have lost my memory of it, but that they all keep trying to remind me that I'm an alien from Mars and I need to go home. See, I worked my way through that one. That was on the realm of possibilities because I don't think I'm special because I'm just me. I'm used to being me. But I imagine that Britney Spears probably feels the same way every morning. So when people are taking pictures of her, she decides to do a documentary on her life to say, hey guys, get the fucking picture. And then instead, oh wait, I haven't heard from Britney Spears in a minute. She was actually dating someone in the town over and went to the restaurant that I worked at, and they actually made sure that I didn't work that night because they thought I would embarrass them. But really all I was going to do was go up to her, give her a hug, and say, bitch, I got you. I get it. It's okay. It happens to the normal ones too. Yours just was publicized, and I'm sorry. And the fact that all you did was shave your head, which now I wonder is for a different reason or whatever. It's none of anyone else's business. And the reason I feel the need to say that to you is not to be like the guy's like, everyone stop harassing Britney, which by the way, you're hilarious, dude. But I have fallen from a pedestal now, much like yours, Britney. Sorry. Now I'm talking to Britney Spears. That's another thing. Maybe I should just write it down and do tags in it along the way. And I'll tell you, Britney Spears, probably 7:30 or something. Anyway, actually, if any of my fans watch this, will you do that for me? Because I can't. I can't. There's too much to do. But I can't get this message out when people I like are then suddenly getting inappropriate because they think I'm a peer. Because you forgot the respect when you allowed me, or I allowed you, to friend me on Facebook, because then suddenly it gets blurred. Then I think about Robin Thicke, and then I get mad because we have the same name. Oh, I'm bent over. Are you staring at my ass? Guys, let's get real, okay? And Dad, if you've forgotten this part, I actually don't think you're going crazy. And I pray and hope you're not, because apparently Alzheimer's is much more complicated and, I remember like every time I've spoken with a family member, it happens randomly. All of your paranoia that everyone's probably telling you is paranoia, is because actual shit like that has happened to me. You've not said one thing to me that's really that bizarre other than the paranoia with me, but like I've been there. I went there too. And the only person to blame is my estranged husband, which, by the way, my kids live with him. So let me explain that part. I'm not trying to talk shit about Keith. I don't want to talk shit about Keith. Every time I do it on accident, the video thing won't let me delete the video, which to me means there's your karma, bitch. And here's the other thing, too, that you all don't know. And young people, by the way, this is really cool. When you marry somebody, even if you don't love them, because he and I never did, and I know this because he doesn't fucking know me at all. I mean, we did love each other at one point or another. But anyway, you don't tell your wife she owes you a blowjob. Never return the favor. Then one time you try to and you gag and vomit. To me, that means you're gay. You're a gay man. You don't like to eat pussy. You're gay. Think about sucking a dick. You might remember how much you like Nathan's hot dogs, and then maybe you'll accept that you're gay. But then again, your parents are such big assholes. Maybe they sent you to a training camp that they call fat camp or something, but it's actually a reprogramming thing that Christians think they can do for gay boys. By the way, everyone who's ever misquoted the Bible to me, I finally decided to go in there and read about where they say that gay people are going to hell. Even the faggots back then didn't put that shit in the Bible. They talked about how you own your wife a little bit, but they didn't do that shit. By the way, I use that word, and I hate myself right now, and I want to but I need to get some anger in everybody who's not actually hearing this message. There's a sick in you. So God put me on the other side of it, told me, which I was going to say give me a spanking, but then I can see that one person is watching, even if I can't see the live chat stuff. And I'm sitting here knowing that it's a fucking moron with a dick. Stop. I am not in any way interested in a man. When you have one rammed in your mouth so much that when they take the pictures of the damage, the nurse tears up, then let me tell you something. Go to any hospital right the fuck now. Go to the emergency department. Go say, yes, I have an appointment with the forensics nurse. And they'll say, oh, okay, great, awesome. They're not going to ask you any questions. You're going to go meet a forensics nurse. And then they're going to say, we don't have an appointment today, sweetheart. Or they're going to say, okay, which one are you? And you're going to say, I don't actually have an appointment, but I needed to get back here because I needed to ask a forensics nurse that if another forensics nurse saw something, started to tear up, and then just kept repeating, it's okay, sweetheart. All these wounds heal. You're going to be okay. Ask her, and you know what? Go on and ask and let me know about that. But actually, I don't read your comments, so go on and come here at 744 Elon Road, Madison Heights, Virginia. Do you know why I'm not afraid to give that? Hey, I'm going to pretend we're going back in time right now. Sorry, if Dave was watching this, he can't follow change of tone and shit because maybe you are retarded. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't run in your family. Maybe you need to understand that you're retarded. But listen. Hey, friend, I know you're worried about me giving my address out publicly like this, but first of all, I'm not famous. And Jodie Foster still had a stalker get through back when they didn't release shit like that. So if somebody's going to do it, they're going to figure out a way. Secondly, when I put my address out there, it kind of takes away the fun factor of stalking. I understand that because I actually had a stalker when I was 19 that I blew off and thought that the dude was full of shit until he described exactly what I was wearing and said he was about to come into my dorm and rape me. I was dating a man who worked for the NNSA, which is the National Nuclear Security Agency. It is really random that I was dating that man just at this time, or, you know, maybe it was God, but random sounds way better. Because you all are fucking... I am so done with this town. I'm sorry. Because I can't even speak anymore. Because everything I say and get defensive about is because it just fucking happened. I don't even think she was really raped. Then get the fuck off my property and stop stalking me. Stop slut shaming a woman who needed to jump back on the horse so that she could find somebody to fuck her in a way that felt good. And then thanks for being that one, and then for pushing me to get suicidal again over and over and over to make me realize that sex is not good. God gave it to us as a gift, but every single man I've ever met, even the best one, you all think too much about your penises. Actually, excuse me. I forgot. He's just an asshole. But the best one I've ever met told me not to think with my pink thing. And then he left me. And he won't even talk to me anymore. And it hurts my feelings because I think about him almost every day. In one way or another. Because that man made an impact on my life. Because he was real. He was real. He was the only man equivalent of me. In terms of, if I like you, I'm going to tell you I like you. If I love you, I'm going to tell you I love you. If I have any kind of thing I want to say to you, I'm going to say it. And I'm going to do it right the fuck now. Because this is all we have. But I had to get raped and held hostage in my home for 4 days. I then had a friend come to my house at the end of it and say, "Can I take out your trash for you?" And now I know he had something to do with it. Because he didn't even just take out the trash. He took out the condoms. By the way, AK, that's why you're not allowed to spend the night at my house anymore. I don't know why people keep fucking with me. I know one of you said Keith so many times, and I don't ever say his name or talk about him much at all anymore. And I know I didn't with you, because by the time I met you, I had learned to stop talking about him a lot. But let me ask you something. Never mind, I'm not going to, because I know your mom smoked crack while she was pregnant with you, so I'm sorry, but you're retarded. You have a guilty conscience, and you keep saying things like as if I'm not going to get it. Oh yeah, but maybe all young people are retarded. Maybe all of you think I can pull one over on her, because maybe all of you are crack babies, or maybe all of you have done drugs. But I know I'm the only motherfucker who never touched a hard drug until she was 30. My brain was developed, beyond developed, starting to lose brain cells, and my libido was plummeting. And I wanted to have sex that was enjoyable again, instead of feeling like my husband was raping me, which I will go back. Let me just say it right now, because I'm not going to find that video. Keith never really raped me, but I asked the forensics nurse, because this was definitely rape. I said to her, I feel like my husband used to rape me, but after going through this and knowing that this is rape, I want to ask you if blah, 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 blah is considered rape. She goes, well, I'm sorry that you went through that. I'm not going to give you my opinion until the end. What did she say? But I would have answered you without you having to tell me the story, because if you question it, then yes, you were raped. Because there was never clear consent. And because men have a tendency to think that just because you're married, you get to come wherever you want. But if he laughed when he did it, I would have stabbed him. So, by the way, Keith, you're alive right now. I thought about murdering you. Dakota talked me out of it. Because, by the way, you were going to be dead. I can say that because it's not conspiracy. It was a thought that went a little too far because we didn't plan it. And by the way, if there was going to be a conspiracy, my co-conspirator was like, you're being serious right now? No, you can't kill somebody. I was like, oh, okay. By the way, stalkers. Which, by the way, Wes, I'm not really talking about you, but I know I kind of called you out, and I hope you don't feel bad. Because, listen, I understand I'm pretty. That doesn't make me any less of a rape victim. I understand that nobody's trying to hurt me, but I'm also a suicide survivor. Let me educate you real quick. Suicide survival is different than suicide attempt failed. If you failed it, then you weren't 100% in on it because you failed. Something inside of you held back. If you tell people that you attempted suicide, you want people to know that and feel sorry for you. Because I never told anyone about my suicide attempts, but there were a lot before the dome. The reason I'm telling you this, my parents have gotten the magistrate to issue an ECO. Excuse me. I forgot. My parents have called the police on me, worried I'm going to commit suicide. I wanted to kill myself because my family did not love me enough or make me feel wanted enough to want to stay alive for most of the time. The reason I wanted to die in the first place was because at 7 years old, I lost my grandmother, who was the only person who ever showed me love in a way that felt good. I'm sorry, Mom, but you've always hurt me my whole life. I'm not being mean and I'm not talking shit, but your tickles hurt me because I think I have fibromyalgia. Stop telling me that it doesn't hurt because everybody else was fine and I was crying. If I saw that in my children, I would be a good mother and know that something's different, especially when you have access to 8 of the fuckers. So stop crying about the fact that I'm talking shit right now. Stop mocking me after I got violently raped, and maybe grow a soul because your husband has one. But Mom, you did stuff before Ryan died that's unforgivable, that I've had people who are not family members call me to tell me the horrible things you've done. And by the way, Dad, I'm sorry that I'm sharing this before you're dead, but you think you have Alzheimer's, so you have lost your mind. So anyway, I don't feel that bad about sharing this. Because guys, Brenda, if you feel like you can message me and tell me you're praying for me and I'm super fucking confused and telling you that I'm not using drugs, and also why did my mom tell you that, and also what the fuck is happening, you miss the point. My mom needs a friend because she is a needy person with narcissistic personality disorder. She's hard to love because she's got narcissistic personality disorder. I know this because I literally had to get raised by her. We have a rare medical condition. Sorry, I'm laughing because I started to tell my friend to say this, but I get embarrassed about it. And because Dakota used to be like, oh God, what's Robin's rare condition now? I'm like, I don't ever tell anybody else, so stop making fun of me because you're my partner. And if I'm telling you, it's because you need to know. Please don't tell your friends like you're doing right now, because I'm taking for granted how stupid. Zay, I lied to you. All American men, I'm afraid of you. Congratulations. You did it. You are powerful. You also hate women now so much that you call them bitches instead of women. So that's what we are. I'm still not a bitch even after all I've been through. But the stalker in my backyard keeps trying to get me to hurt myself because he's got some kind of sick in him that I don't even know about. So by the way, if any of my friends who are practitioners, providers, or police officers or anything that can help me, stop telling me to mind my own damn business and to start worrying about me. I am worried about me, you stupid fuck. Amberly, why would I reach out to a police officer and ask her a question unless I wasn't legit worried about it? Or were you just brushing me off because you're busy? Part of your job is to serve and protect. Now I fucked it up. Protect. I need to stop looking at this fucking screen because every time I see somebody come and go, I'm like, oh, there's an asshole who can't handle the truth. Oh, why are there this many people? Oh shit, I just lost my whole audience. I guess everybody is uncomfortable with. At the end of the day, hey guys, I'm Jesus' kid sister. You're welcome. But also, I don't like you, and I've already told God to end the fucking world. And also, if you think I'm crazy, remember when I predicted those tornadoes and 4 touchdowns? That's a meteorological miracle. I had medical miracles that I've experienced, which is how I know that if you have a doctor who does not believe in God, you have a psychiatrist. Because he sees the sick, he doesn't realize that he just believes in Satan. I don't know. I can't figure out how to say this in Christian terms because Christianity is bullshit and you all taught wrong. But you got the good message out of it, so I'm not putting you down. And I'm going to church tomorrow with my neighbor Joyce because she's a Jehovah's Witness and decided to drop off a pamphlet. And that poor woman had to talk to me for 2 hours because I had a lot of questions. But here's my problem. She has to wear a skirt. She got to wear her head covered. So I'm not going to church with her tomorrow because fuck that shit. It's hot. But I might because it doesn't hurt. But I've been to a Mormon. I don't know what to call it. Is it church, mosque, synagogue? I don't know. And by the way, I'm not reading messages, comments, or whatever. So if you are giving advice, I'm not reading that. Because it was distracting from the message. And see, then I would have been sitting there reading. That's not what this is about. This rant that I'm on has some kind of message in it. My problem is there's too much to talk about. I've already been going on for 30 minutes. I wouldn't listen to me for 30 minutes. I'm looking for a 5-minute video of whatever the fuck I need. So the only way for me to make a difference is to start a revolution. I already did, but I can't talk about it because it's a secret. Maybe. I don't know. I gotta think about it some more. I don't know. How do you change the world when the world doesn't give a fuck anymore? DC Talk. I just drew a blank of the song. God damn it. But okay, for instance, DC Talk. Your music was so good. I'm talking to the wall because your music was so good. Oh, here, I'm going to start a new recording and I'm going to do it there. Here's the problem. Guys, fans who I have befriended, I befriended you to use you, and I'm sorry. And the only 2 of you have I actually done that with. Did I ask you some questions? Yes, I'm sorry. I was trying to get an idea of what my demographic was actually watching me for, because I was worried it was just because of the dropping the towel thing. What I love about the ones who I know I'm going to see them pop up on my feed, and that's why I'm not trying to offend you. I love that I have regular viewers. Help me. If you want to be my friend, for real, which, by the way, Kiki, do you love me? Leslie Griffin, and Wes, and Tom, and anybody else who I see your name, and then I'm like, oh, hey, there's one, and I can't think of it right now. She always puts really insightful comments that either correct me if I misspoke or elaborates where I need it or asks me a question just to make sure. Because one of them, she said, well, I was just making sure that you had thought through it because I actually agree with you, but I want to make sure that it was for the right reason. Boom. There you go, Wes. There's another woman out there like me. I don't know if she's married. I don't know if she's fat. I don't know if she's as pretty as I am. Wait till you get to know me. Let me tell you how imperfect I am. I met my soulmate, and ever since he left, I'm insane. If somebody else is around me and likes me, I go insane more and more. I'm only coming out of it right now. Also, my blood sugar drops, so maybe it's that, but I know it's not. Because even men who love me, like my father, when he's around me, he goes insane. Because when Jesus met Mary Magdalene, and the Bible decided to call her a prostitute instead of saying that the Son of God had a wife, because they felt like he should be alone. I remember hearing that fact, and it was done by a theologist or a science. She was in anthropology, sociology. So it was a sociologist who did the research, and anthropologist, because I guess those go hand in hand, because a theologist said, I can't do this. You have to, I'll pay you. But I got approved for the study. Here you go. Hey, that needs to be another video. I got approved for a study. I don't have a car because the rapist took it. Help me out, guys. Don't just be a fan. Share me with your friend. Oh, yeah, I hate this part. I don't even want to do this because I don't like anybody watching me at all. And that's why I get all freaked out about the thing. I've gotten used to it. But right now it just says 1. I can deal with 1 person watching me. And then after the fact, so many people watch me that when I was in jail and someone heard my voice, I hear, is that Robin Oyster? And I said, what? Is your name Robin? Yeah, how did you know that? Because of your voice. Yeah, I know, that's what's freaking me out. What the fuck? Oh, well, you're YouTube famous. What? Well, let's hear you are. Yeah, these friends of yours kept going around town showing everybody your videos and talking about what a psychotic bitch you are and that you tried to sleep with her husband. Mike and Lindsay? Yeah. I didn't know them, but they were at a house, and there was a party, and they were showing people. And Mike kept going, yeah, she tried to fuck me, and blah, blah, blah. And Lindsay was sitting there talking about everything that was ugly about you, and I was like, why is she being so mean? I don't think she's that ugly. I mean, no, sorry. The reason I haven't said anything is that I was kind of like terrified at first that the reason was because I was saying something, but actually that makes so much sense and it's so funny that I started crying because I was on my period, and that's the whole joke about being in Max Egg. But anyway, and I'm glad that part of my fame is in thanks to the sick. Because damn, guys, I didn't even try to sleep with Mike, but your fucking husband went to go hang himself, and I followed because I don't care who's more abusive in a relationship. Abuse is a two-way street. Because otherwise, you've got a stalker living in your backyard instead of my husband who beats me. There you go, Zay. That's the difference. Mic drop. I love you, but the mic did drop, but it dropped on you, and I love you still, but I'm sorry.